Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and no, not going to do it. Oh, alright, welcome back to your annual War Thunder video. I guess if a joke's funny once, it's funny every time. Anyway, yeah, welcome back to War Thunder. It's Wednesday, I didn't have anything else planned. And I've had this War Thunder replay sitting around waiting to be used for quite some time now. So this is Track Roll in one of the best fighters of World War II that nobody's ever heard of. Hopefully, as you can probably tell by the colours and the wing markings, it's Italian, which will be one of the reasons why most of you have probably never heard of it. This is the Reggiane 2005 Series 0, also known as the Sagittario. And the other reason why most of you have probably never heard of it is because it just wasn't produced in large enough numbers or early enough to make any kind of a difference. But it was a beautiful aircraft. I mean, just look at those elliptical wings. It's very much like a Spitfire. Although, as you can tell by the air intake up there by the nose, it's definitely not running a Supermarine Merlin engine. This thing was designed to take advantage of the German Daimler-Benz 605 engine, I believe, the same engine that was used on the Bf-109 and the heavy fighters, the Bf-110 and the Me-210. A very, very capable engine, and when married up with a beautifully aerodynamic fuselage like that, ended up producing one of the best fighters of World War II that almost nobody has ever heard of. The problem was, well, initially, the Italian Air Force was so impressed with this thing that they ordered 750, which was an extremely optimistic figure, given Italy's chronic material shortages at the time. And by the time of the armistice, in September 1943, when Italy said, right, that's it, we've had enough, we'd like to be on your side now, please, and officially threw the towel in, only 48 had been delivered to the Italian Air Force. The remainder, however, and several of those 48 were captured by Germany, along with anything else useful that the Italian Army and Air Force had, in late 1943, repainted in German colours and flown by the Luftwaffe, and several even took part in the defence of Berlin in 1945. It was a very, very good aircraft, flown by some exceptionally good Italian pilots, and it was just lucky for us, I guess, that Italy simply didn't have the resources, and any resources that it had were eaten up by corruption, in order to make enough of these things to count. Although, to be completely honest, even if Italy had been drowning in spare resources, they probably still wouldn't have been able to manufacture enough of these things to make any kind of a difference, because it was a very, very advanced design. And Italian industry wasn't that sophisticated. So it was very difficult and extremely expensive to manufacture. And of course, Italy didn't have the resources, and it didn't have the money either. So the fact that they were able to actually produce 48 of these things, and produce them to a high enough standard that they would even impress the Luftwaffe pilots who flew the captured versions through 1944 and 1945, does kind of speak well of Italian aircraft engineering. Anyway, things are about to start getting interesting. There's a whole bunch of enemy fighters. Track Roll's trying to gain some altitude. The climb rate on this thing was pretty impressive, by the way, and its performance at altitude was superb. The first Italian pilot to use this thing in combat was the Italian ace, Major Vittorio Minguzzi, and he said, and I quote, "The aircraft is in ideal flying conditions at an altitude of 23,000 to 24,600 feet and can make repeated attacks on American heavy bombers in all positions and from all directions. I can therefore say that the speed and handling qualities are excellent, even at 23,000 feet, and that compared to the Machi 202, the Sagittario can make 2 attacks in the time required by the C-202 for a single pass." Track Roll is not going to have the opportunity in this battle to take too much advantage of this aircraft's superb high altitude performance, because shit is just about to start getting real. First, managed to avoid getting hammered by the Corsair in a head-on pass, and honestly, from here on in, I'm not even going to attempt to provide a coherent narrative because everything just happens so fast. I mean, I'll do my best, but you'll see what I mean. So he's engaged in the furball with the Corsair, and then he realises he's got a Tempest on his tail, so he goes defensive again. Look at how this thing handles. Most beautiful semi-elliptical wings. So he's managed to dodge the Tempest. He turns around on the Tempest. And oh, hang on a second. There's the Corsair again. There's a P-51 getting involved. And any second now... Yep, there's a Spitfire too. So he's got a Spitfire, a Corsair, a Tempest and a Mustang on him at the same time. And they're not picking on him because they're just big mean bullies. They're picking on him because he's the only one left. With the exception of one bomber, he's the only aircraft left on his team. And the enemy team have only suffered one casualty. So he's in some real pretty shit now. And the Sagittario is a great, highly manoeuvrable aircraft, but you have to keep your speed up when you're pulling manoeuvres like this. And he's nailed the Spitfire. Because if you end up going slow, you're dead. So he's dumping altitude for speed in an effort to try to keep these manoeuvres going. And he's about to run out of altitude. You can see the Arado 234 is 17 kilometres away. Nobody cares about him. If you kill the fighters, you can mop up the bombers easily. So they're all going for track roll. And he has nailed the Corsair as well. Here comes the Mustang. Again, going furiously evasive. Hang on a second. Wasn't there a Tempest? There is. Oof. Come on, baby. Trying to force the P-51 to overshoot. No. P-51 went vertical inside his turn. Oh, he's about to run out of ground. He doesn't have the opportunity to take advantage of the P-51 being vulnerable at the top of its climb there, although he's going to try, but here comes the Tempest. No, he has to go evasive again, although he's determined to try and get some shots off of that Mustang. Can he get him? Yes, he can. Now then, where's the Tempest? Oh dear. Yeah, the Tempest is a very powerful aircraft. It's very fast in the dive. A little too fast. And, yeah, that was it. 4-on-1. And he killed them all. Ah, but Jingles, he didn't shoot down the Tempest. Well, yeah, but that's what pilots like to call a manoeuvre kill. No, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's deadly serious that they call that a manoeuvre kill. I mean, it's fairly typical of the Air Force. Pilots do love to overinflate their kills. Or at least their kill claims. A manoeuvre kill is, well, that's what happened to the Tempest. It's when you force or lead an enemy aircraft into basically manoeuvring into the ground in their efforts to keep up with you. They call it a manoeuvre kill. It's not credited as an actual official kill. Not officially, but the pilots still claim it as a kill. They have mission kills as well. Have you ever heard of those? Oh, these are great. Let's say you spot a bunch of, I don't know, let's say Focke-Wulf 190As right, in the ground attack role, loaded with bombs. Tally-ho, chaps, in you go. The Focke-Wulf 190C, you come in, the first thing they do in order to make themselves more combat capable is ditch their bombs, go defensive. Now, even if you don't shoot down a single one of those Focke-Wulf 190s, and in fact, you know, there's a fairly good chance because the Focke-Wulf 190 is a great aircraft that they're going to shoot down some of you. But even if you don't shoot down a single one of those attack aircraft, they're all counted as mission kills because you prevented them from carrying out their mission, which was to bomb something. I must of course stress that these were not counted as actual kills, you know, in the sense that once you get 5 confirmed aerial victories, then you're officially an ace. But the Air Force just, they do love to call everything a kill, even if it isn't actually, officially, a kill. The Air Forces did, well, at least the Allied Air Forces did have fairly strict rules over governing, you know, what could be claimed as an actual confirmed kill. For a start, somebody else had to see it. I mean, often you'll see an Allied pilot whose official record will credit them with, say, 8 confirmed kills, 3 unconfirmed and 2 probables. So the unconfirmed are basically nobody else saw it, and the probables are, well, he definitely hit him, we saw him leaking fuel and on fire, but nobody actually saw him go down. Although I'm sure, because I know pilots, right? I know what they're like. I'm sure that of the confirmed kills, there was probably a fair element of, don't worry, mate, I got your back on this. Yep, yeah, absolutely, I saw that kill. Guaranteed, 100%. No shit. Jen did. He absolutely got him, honest governor. I'm sure there was probably a fair amount of that going on. But when you look at the number of kills... Oh, and by the way, the ground attack aircraft overinflated their kill claims by ludicrous amounts. Aircraft like the Hawker Tempest, for example, which was superb in the ground attack role, equipped with rockets. I mean, after D-Day in Western Europe, the number of tanks that the Allied air forces claimed they killed, well, let's just put it this way. I'm sure Germany wished they had as many tanks as the Allied ground attack aircraft pilots claimed had been knocked out. And yet, you can kind of sympathise. There's the surviving enemy aircraft, by the way, the AD-4. He's being a good sport, he's turning his wingtip smoke on, he knows there's no way he's surviving this one. But, you know, when you're doing a high-speed diving rocket attack on a bunch of tanks parked up under a bunch of trees, it's all over so quickly, it's very easy to think that you knocked out more than you did. And to be completely fair, while the Allied air forces did knock out a huge number of trucks and half-tracks and other soft-skin vehicles, and not that many tanks, the psychological impact that they had was so great. Because if you're being attacked, if you're in a tank and you're being attacked by aircraft with rockets, the only thing you can do is button up, huddle down and pray. The Germans just started refusing to drive on roads during the day unless they absolutely had to. So, yeah. Mission kills. Yeah. It's nice to see that the AD-4 isn't really trying to prolong... I mean, you know, he's going to try and get some ground kills off you. He's doing his job. But he knows he's not going to survive a dogfight against a Sagittario. He's turned his wingtip smoke on so as to not draw this out unnecessarily. Good on him. And he did get to bomb the ground target and complete his mission. Well, he didn't complete the mission. He damaged the ground target. He wasn't carrying enough weapons to knock it out in a single strike. And here it comes. It's all over bar the shouting. Track roll here. In the Reggiane 2005 Series 0. The best fighter of World War II that nobody's ever heard of. Turning in an absolutely stellar performance here and getting himself 4 kills, none of which would be confirmed because he was the only one who saw them happen. That's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.